getting better with experience.
Only shooting stars break the mold.
Hello everybody and welcome to Brawl Stars. I'm Amy the Amazonian and today I'm playing with Ezuri, Claw of Progress. Whenever a creature with a power of 2 or less enters the battlefield, Ezuri gives you an experience counter, and then at the start of combat, you put +1/+1 counters on another creature based on your experience counters, which means that even if Ezuri is killed, you'll keep his experience for the next time he's in play. This deck is a Simic Scales deck. Similar to a Zimone Paradox Sculptor deck, this deck is looking to put tons of counters on your creatures, double those, proliferate, and even proliferate your experience counters so you can get more +1/+1 counters from Ezuri. In this deck, I'm also running a couple different ways to get different abilities on your countered creatures, and of course I'm trying to do so using creatures that have 2 or 1 or even 0 power when they enter play, so they're able to buff up Ezuri. You can kind of tell from the curve here, we got 1 drops, 2 drops, 3 drops, very few 4 drops to compete with Ezuri, and very few 5 or even 7, 8, 9 drops, because we don't need those. We just need lots of little creatures to try to make a huge board. So let's take Ezuri into the queue and start progressing our power with a couple +1/+1 counters. Sammy, Wildcat Captain. Sammy is going to be playing tons of artifacts and then discounting all their spells, including future artifact spells, based on the number of artifacts they have. Sammy ramps and ramps and ramps, playing Ugins, Eldrazi, Cityscape Levelers, and if we were in paper, Lightsteel Colossi as well. It is one of those cards that's just so crazy, so hectic, so good. I will play this Elvish Mystic. I'm holding up the mana drain for Sammy once they are at approximately 8 mana. And mind you, they do have 4 mana here. Also, that's an artifact. That's also an artifact. Everything's going nutso here. Thank you for the land, though. In Ozolith. Let's see. I don't think they'll be playing Sammy next turn, so this could be an off turn for me to do buffing or setting up. Like, playing Ezuri is cool, too. I guess I'll play the Ezuri for this turn, just to get it, like, ready to go. They draw 2. I wish Ezuri started with 1 experience counter. There's only a few, like, free creatures you can play if you're building that type of deck, including, like, X-cost creatures or, like, Ornithopters. There's not that many you can really put into this deck. Thank you for card draw. It is appreciated. No, I have to hold up the mana drain. As much as I want it. It's too scary. But maybe next turn we can go wild with, like, Scoots and Boots.
I'm making a note here, huge success. Hard to
A Chrome Mox.
satisfaction. Aperture science.
You're right. I should just play cards that give Ezuri -1/-1. Perfect solution. What did they exile? Blowin'? That's like one of the few goads in Arena. Hi, I really just want that 6 mana. Thank you, Mana Drain. You shouldn't be in the format. But as long as you are, you will be played. World Weave. Scoot Swarm. Landfall triggers. More triggers. We're gonna need a few more of those. I'm going to cycle Ozolith. We get another land. World Weave, mistake of a card. Very helpful in this very specific circumstance, though. Alright, I have 12, 13, 14... Now 15 experience. We're going to put 15 +1/+1 counters onto the insect token and swing in for lethal. Thank you, Mana Drain. I hate you, Mana Drain. Thank you, World Wave. I hate you, World Wave. They're down to 1. That's pretty good. It was almost lethal. I thought it was lethal. I was not counting. And that's going to be GG. Even if they kill Ezuri, we can bring him back, and his experience will remain. Omnath, Locus of the Royal, a landfall commander. Landfall is going to be growing their elementals and eventually getting them card draw once they get to 8 lands. It's a bit like Tamiyo, but with the added bonus of having a scaling creature and some red mana. There's also some elemental synergy, usually playing cards like Risen Reef, and that's it. Hi, Omnath. Are you ready for some lands and lands-like happening? Probably. I'll play this Haywire Mite to start. I don't know if there will be anything for it to get rid of, but it's a good little guy. Just look at it. I'll play Billiam and swing for 1. Yeah, we also have some landfall stuff, but it's not a lot of, like, landfall ramp. I'm running Lotus Cobra. I think it's the only landfall ramper because it's the only one that has 2 power. We got our landfall triggers. We play Tamiyo. And pass the turn. That is a tapped land, which means that they're not going for Omnath this turn. Being asked if I have Risen Reef in this deck. I don't. I think that, like, of the 1 mana cards that get you a land, I'd probably play the Frog with Reach, the 1/2 Frog. It's also at 3 mana. It's a good card, too. Yeah, get none counters with left beef. Take them down to 14 life. Order of Grufix lets them play lands off the top. I did counter Azusa because, like, I know how deep it can go if they're able to just keep playing lands and lands and lands and lands. Kind of surprised I didn't go for Omnath that turn. I'm going to play a wee Hydra. That gives me 1 experience. I'll throw that counter on there, and I'll swing in with everything but the Might. They have a free block there, but these 2 are dealing 10 more damage. I love how Tamiyo is just like, I'm a 1-mana creature until I'm a planeswalker, but mostly I'm a 1-mana creature. They have 1 elemental, so they're just going to hit my face. Land off the top with the forest. That gets them mana here and a buff from Omnath. Ooh, Nykthos on top. That tells me their deck is mostly mono green. Some Omnath decks are a bit more, I would say, like, tempo-y, running more counter spells and burn. This one, I guess, just isn't. I'm gonna put a counter. Gonna swing with everything. I'm planning on activating Bill. And I think between the trample and the flying, that should be lethal. 2 from the Hydra, 4 from Tameo. We win the game. GG, Omnath. Imskir, Iron Eater. Imskir gets discounted based on the number of artifacts you have, then draws you cards based on the number of artifacts you have, paying a little life along the way. I've got something on 2, something on 3, Beast Whisper as well, but I'd really love some turn 1 ramp if I can find it, and there it is! Llanowar Elves. Perfect. I even have turn 2 ramp into Fanatic of Ronus or Incubation Druid. Hi, Hull Carver. It is, in fact, a little guy. Imskir can also throw artifacts, which, if you have other things with affinity for artifacts, they can be pretty high mana value, be cast for free, discount him, draw you cards, and then be yeeted. Ow. Now I won't have a big boy. See if I can set up getting a counter on this. That would be with Ezuri. That's the only card I have that currently puts counters onto other creatures, unless it's Kyrian Beastclaw or dying. I could also pay 5 to adapt, but that's usually not what I want to do in this deck. Ooh, a Ghost Vacuum. A little bit of counterplay against this Ice Till. I'll block the Marionette Apprentice, and the other 2 damage go through. Rather than play Ezuri or hold a Tail's End, I want to try to do some land-based ramp. Hey, Curtis Byers, thank you so much for the sub. Thank you for supporting the stream. Wonder if this will die. It's not a bad blocker either. Ice Till Explorer, I do have some landfall effects in this deck. It does trigger Ezuri, but mostly this card is just ridiculous. I do not understand why it's a 2/4, why it does the milling and the playing from the graveyard and the additional lands. A fiendish thing indeed. All right, they're wiping the board. That's probably smart for them. I'll see if they are interested in perhaps playing 2 spells a turn. This is just a funky little proliferate engine. I will oftentimes be casting 2 spells per turn if I hit my land drops or don't have my mana all get destroyed. But Dreamtide Whale is neat. It goes away if people aren't casting spells. But not only does it stick around, it's a 3-mana 7/5. Ice Till to me is like if you took Oracle of Moldiah and you made it nuts. Nice. Oni Cold Anvil pretty much lets you recycle 1 of these a turn. Imskir only costs 3. And I got a pretty good goodie bag filling up there. I could either Ezuri or I could do a double spell here. Or I could just play 1 of these and hold up Tail's End, which is actually what I'm going to do. Fanatic of Ronus, I'll swing in for 7. Since I have an extra turn before this goes away. And this will now tap for 4. Because Modern Horizons, look at it go. A Workshop's Assistant. They tap it with a drum to get out Imskir for just 2 mana. No, wait. At first they're sacrificing it to bring back the wee Death Toucher. I get pinged. They heal up. They play Hull Carver. Thank you for the second spell. But they're not playing Imskir. And to think I hold up my mana for nothing. That's an Inventor's Fair. I can't even tell from the art because I'm so used to the original. Get ourselves a Xenagos. And I need to start building up my experience. Even though casting this the other way would get a counter on this, I want my experience counters. They're good. Now I won't have the counter spell, but I will have heroic intervention. Do I feel like attacking and doing the heroic? Nah. If this dies, it'll be able to redistribute its counters. Here comes Imskir. Drawing 4? Oh, 3. Got themselves an extra land. That becomes an artifact, right? Yeah. I'm protecting myself. I'm protecting myself and waiting. They are still a Rakdos deck, so I know they've got to have removal. Somewhere. They already played one. Like, they played a board wipe. Tapping for 2. You have to tap for that? No, you don't. Neat. We proliferate. Yeah, Imskir can remove things. I was looking at like, oh yeah, you don't have to tap Imskir to sacrifice the artifact. Yet another card gone from my graveyard. They can crack that open next turn. They do have 6 mana. And since they have descended, this gets a counter. Number go down. I don't have much blue, but I'm gonna use it the way we do. Oh, right, since they don't have another blue. Alright, that's fine. Don't mind us. Just trying to get some damage in. Casting that lovely second spell. We proliferate. We are indestructible. And they go down to 14. Also, now I have 4 counters on this layer of the Hydra, which I'm very happy about. Also, 4, whatever these are called. Experience counters. Yes, I know what my deck does. Through experience, we learn. They cast the One Ring, giving them protection. I don't have any way through protection in this deck. They can also yeet the One Ring, which is pretty fun. Be like, hey man, it's doing too much damage to me. 16, 14. What if they'll pop that open next turn? Number go down. Number go up. Number go up. Number get huge. But since we can't deal damage, we just chill. I have the Proliferate or I have the Tails End available. Yes, this is the only card that uses experience counters in Arena. We do have a very similar card to a paper card that uses experience counters, and that's Minthara. But instead in Arena, she has Intensity, which is actually, she just like wiggles a bunch. It's her most important quality. Her wiggles. We have Azlask? Oh. We do? Oh, I guess Azlask does use experience. Yeah, Azlask is from the Modern Horizons Precon deck. Eldrazi Incursion. I'm literally looking at it because it's in a big stack on my desk over here. I forgot that it uses experience because it's a really tricky commander to get to go. So I have a very, very big board here. Imskir, do you want to come on down, take some damage? But you have very little, if any, mana left. They didn't give it haste since it just gets bodied. And it looks like we're gonna win through the power of sheer scale. GG. The Viza Orbital Overseer is a recently released card that is absolutely nuts. It's like the child of a primeval titan, a sudden titan, and a grave titan, getting you lands when it enters, and creatures when it attacks, or anything attacks, and even more lands off those if you need it, and it even has a 4/4 with flying and vigilance, which is wholly unnecessary, and holy cow, this card is push, especially in Bant colors. I've seen people mostly building it as landfall. Occasionally it's a blink deck, but Viza is just all around doing a ton. I want you to compare it to Ezuri. Ezuri costs the same, has less stats, and does not do anything upon entering. Not a single thing. It's really tragic. Do I want to go for Bill and just like beefin this turn? Yeah, let's do some Bill beefin. It's like I could do Fanatic of Ronus to like set up for it hitting for a lot next turn. That's like 3 Titans had a baby, and it can fly. Oracle of Moldiah gets them a land and lets them play additional lands. Definitely the landfall variant of Viza. They're going to be ramping. This refunds half of its mana cost, and then eventually probably casting some big, crazy Simic spells. Well, hello, Ouroboros. You absolute nasty creature, you. I don't actually think I want to play Ouroboros this turn, though. I think I want to save it for one turn. And I will be playing it over Ezuri because it is going to be buffing much, much better, faster than Ezuri can. World Weave is a silly card. Yes, it is. Don't mind that it's probably in this deck. The deck's mostly green. We have a little bit of landfall. It's just good. Oh, speaking of big dumb Simic spells that they can cast with all their ramp, that's Doppelgang. They have a free attack here, since I didn't put the counters onto that. So they will be able to get the lander. I also feel like the lander having flying is very aggressive. Kinda nuts. Come on in, Oracle. I'll block. You think they're gonna crash the game off Doppelgang? Ooh, is this a Ganjo? It is! Aw, there goes my oodles of mana. I don't need oodles of mana for an Ouroboros, though. Oh, it would have been nice. Just gonna scooch things around, make guys big. Be big. Be huge. Excellent. Nice. Shifting Woodland's also active. That's good to know. Gonna hold up that heroic intervention. If you're wondering why did I like fetch and shock there, it's because I'm lazy. And then proliferate. I want them to target my stuff because I know they're gonna. My stuff? Good. Surprised they didn't go for Oracle. So that completely blanked Doppelgang. Good hexproof. Viza having vigilance. That's the Sun Titan part of it. Swings in. Probably will not be sitting down to do some stationing, since they know they'll need some blockers. Make my creatures grow! I'll pay every single life I've got, or a Boroid. Flooded Strand. We want that Ouroboros as big as it can get. I'm gonna make every single one of these creatures lethal. Keep on going. I could have also gone for like evolution stage in the middle here, but it's almost the same thing. Okay. We go to combat. And I'm swinging. Bristly Bill is able to double the counters, making itself lethal, making my blocks extra nasty. Not exactly lethal off that, if you're wondering why I didn't do the double. Here's Evolution Sage. I think the Birds of Paradise should do it, though, right? Saying good game. We know what's on top of their deck. It's just the land, because you can't cast it from the top. GG. Xenagos, God of Revels, is going to be doubling power, giving a hasty boost, and doing some ramping because it is a 5-mana way to end the game real hard, real fast. I guess I would like my ramp. Hello, this is Birds of Paradise. You also have Birds of Paradise. We are both bird enjoyers. They are also land enjoyers. They should be able to play that next turn. Wash away. I don't think it's what I want. I think that they might play Xenagos next turn, and I wouldn't be able to use it there. I'm gonna go for Bonds and Scales. We're bird enthusiasts. Peep, peep. Here's Xenagos. Xenagos is going to give the Birds of Paradise 0 additional power and toughness. I know, very, very powerful. It's very impressive. I'll play Ezuri. He does nothing when he enters. He puts no counters on the bird. Look, we're both fellow bird buffers, except our bird buffs do nothing. Xenagos, probably deciding which big chunky thing to play. Hulking Raptor will get them more mana next turn. It also is a 10-8 that's attacking me. I will take it. Let's make some little guys slightly less little. Fanatic of Ronus. Tameo. A land, and we're gonna see what I get. I would say that, like, Tameo is going to be my, just, like, maybe block and trade. I just want to have something kind of nice there. And I can attack for 3, but I kind of want to leave everybody back. I got a buffed up Ouroboros off this. This is possibly one of the best cards in the deck. It's one of those cards where, like, if this could be your commander, I would make it the commander. It's very similar to, like, I guess, Zimone in just, like, yeah, it buffs up your board. But the rate at which it does it is so absurd. Here comes a Tali. Going to be getting spells off each player's deck. Rishkar from me. Paradise Druid from them. By the way, there's a bug right now. If you would like to cast the spells from something like Atali, you do have to click on the exile pile. They've chosen not to do it. And here comes Atali from the top rope, swinging for 14. Yeah, I'll prevent some of that. 6 of that with Tameo. Yeah, it wouldn't have made too much of a difference. Rishkar would have put an additional, like, power on that before swinging in. Beef. Beef Chunko. That's indestructible. None of those are lethal. Let's see if all y'all can hold the line. I guess I should be doing this on their turn to get another trigger off Hardened Bonds. Ugh, Lamog! My biggest creatures, gone. And now, I am dead. Good game, Xenagos. Wait. Sure, Ulamog works too. They exile the top cards, I'll trade, I'll block, we die. Nice. GG. Roxanne, Starfall Savant, is going to be throwing rocks at all of my creatures and killing them. Unless I can make them big enough that they'll survive. Because this gets counters, this gets counters, this can get counters, and this gives counters to everything. Roxanne's going to be one of those cards that's just always present. It's such a good ramp target and ramper because it gives you, well, more mana to recast your commander. It deals damage. It takes out your opponent's ramp because most things do die to 2 damage if they're, you know, small mana dorks. Think your Delighted Halflings, your Llanowar Elves, all of those. All right, another land. I could use another land. I'll take that. And I had turn 1 ramp. I didn't. That's fine. Maybe I would even get lucky and get one of my... Get one of my pieces to counter Roxanne off the top. So they got double ramp. Roxanne will probably be coming down next turn. And I do have a way to have this survive using Scythecat Cub. I will use the Scythecat Cub to put a counter onto Incubation Druid and then use that for Ouroboros. Now, I could have also just played a land, Ouroboros, but this is just a whole another creature in the middle. If they give Roxanne haste, or a way to double her trigger, they can also throw 2 rocks at a time, but my goal here is to keep the Ouroboros alive. Against Gruul, making a creature that's huge is the way you win the game. They got a rock, and it's going at my face. Nice. Ezuri, followed by the Kyrian Beastcaller, giving myself some experience, putting a counter onto the Ouroboros. I want to put my now experience counter onto Ouroboros so everybody else gets huge. Swinging in with a 7-7 and an 8-10. Roxanne might have come out on turn 3, but getting that counter on an Incubation Druid meant I ramped just as hard. Parallel lives that will double the tokens they get. And That means 4 damage can be distributed as they need. It looks like they're shooting all the damage at Ezuri. I will actually block with the Carrion Beast Collar, since if it dies, I'm able to redistribute its counters. Most board wipes wouldn't be able to take out the Ouroboros, and that's the #1 threat on the field. GG, Roxanne. Kuja, Genome Sorcerer. The more wizards you have, the more damage you'll deal, transforming him and doubling damage from your wizards. It also makes Black Mage tokens, these wizards that deal a damage whenever you cast a non-creature spell. Typically, this deck has some targeted discard, some good removal for the creatures in play, and then a whole lot of wizards. I have some turn 1 rants, so I'll start with that. Probably trying to lean into Bloated Contaminator. And if this dies, because it could get bolted or spiked or cut down, I could either hold for a Tail's End, this costs 4 mana, or just play this Pupa. I was hoping for a little more mana. Oh, also that's so sweet. I love the Tumblewag. Beautiful Pupa is one of those cards that you could approximate this in paper, and I would totally love that. It's a really great card. It would just not be perpetual. Or I guess you could have its counters like follow it between zones. Why not? Ornery Tumblewag. We evolve. And I get to put a counter on something. I'm gonna put it on the Tumblewag. Unless, are you killing one of these? Oh, rip Mutable Pupa. I'll keep the 3 mana creature instead of a 1 mana creature. This gets a counter each turn and can even double counters if I saddle it before attacking. Saddling. I keep saying crewing with them. It's like, yeah, you crew the creature. That's normal enough. Here comes Simone. I won't be able to saddle first because I won't have enough power on Simone. This is a saddle of 2, and you can't do it at instant speed. And I swing for 5. Post-combat, I could saddle. I wonder what was holding priority for them. I wonder if they have maybe like a fatal push, but nothing left to play. Okay, Bristly Bill. This time I will play Ezuri. I want to start getting experience. We giddy up. I'll have Tumblewag put no counters there. You can put a counter on Ezuri, and you two can buff each other. I'm diversifying my threats. All right, Simone, get huge and cause violence. I would say Simone is actually a really good alternate commander for this deck. She costs the same, and she doesn't require anything else to get her trigger. She can also buff herself and double counters. Kuja makes the Kuja Light. Bristly Bill triggers Ezuri. Play a land. Get a counter on Bristly Bill. And I could either hold the Tail's End, or I could use this to double counters, or I could play Bloated Contaminator. I'm going to play the Bloated Contaminator here. I will give you a counter, and each of you will get some counters too. And I'll swing in for 9. Nice. They're down to 11. They do have 1 wizard in play. They need 4 to transform at end step. And it looks like we're going to have enough damage to win. The ability to proliferate, double counters, and just keep placing counters each turn. GG. Glarb, Calamity's Augur. Going to be playing cards from the top of their deck, and lands. But the spells they cast have to cost 4 or more mana, or they won't be free to get. I've got a Pupa and a Chocobo. I'm going to start with this sweet little Chocobo. Just look at how dang cute it is. I think it's cute. Chat's like, oh, but wouldn't you rather play a gross bug over cute baby birdie? No. Get him, Saz's Chocobo. She craves violence. I don't have a giant growth, but imagine if I did. No! They're gonna be able to hit my wash away. I cannot counter Glarb anymore. And hi, Jet Collector. Still a pretty good draw. Even though it means I won't have any little guys left for Ezuri. Oh, I should have played those in the other order. My bad. We evolve. We grow beyond. And my bird's getting big. That Jet Collector is also pretty good evidence of another thing you can do with Glarb. Him being Sultai means you can also play him as a Graveyard Matters deck, surveilling things into the grave and bringing them out with Jet Collector, playing it alongside cards like Muldrotha because they're really good. Play the Nesting Grounds. This is too little too late. Here's Ezuri. We do not evolve. I have seen no little guys. You get no counters. And I'll attack with the Saz's Chocobo. If they'd like to, they could trade with Glarb. They are not interested in Glarb trades. Speaking of graveyard cards, you can cast that from the graveyard. I'm not sure if they're going to do the trick here with you hold priority and tap Ronus so he taps for 4. Fanatic of Ronus. Sorry, Ronus, you've kind of been, like, outshadowed by the Modern Horizons card that worships you. Like, Ronus, you're good. You're like, what, a 3-mana 5/5 that's indestructible, gives things trample? You got Death Touch? That's cool. You don't tap for 4 mana on a 2-drop. You're just snakes. Ooh, 1 billion. I won't be able to... you can use Nesting Grounds to get that to trigger again. I won't have that here. Ezuri will trigger, though. We can start beefing things up. I'll beef up the Mutable Pupa. And swing in with both. We love big chunky fellas. Go get it. Yeah, paying 2 mana to get 4 mana? That's just crazy. Who would do that, Modern Horizons? We take them down to 6. But Death Touch finishes off Saz's Chocobo. R.I.P. Saz's Chocobo. You were a sweet little baby, and I loved you so much. Hello, Get Rog Monster. Here to make land recycling, do some extra damage. Jet Collector could have brought back the Uro. It would have gone away because it would be sacrificed as not being escaped. But they have 4 mana. They have black mana. If there's something in the graveyard, they can bring it back with a finality counter. Slicer, going to slice into their hand, into the graveyard. They can grab the Duress from their own, the Wash Away from mine, or Saz's Chocobo, but they only have 1 black mana, so I think they're going to get the Duress. Or can you only hit permanents? No. They could have hit any. They just didn't. Ain't it the truth? I could use Bill to double the counters on the Pupa. But I want to give a guy a sword. I'll give... whoever I give the sword won't be able to get a counter from Ezuri. I just really want to hit with the sword. Bug half trample. Doesn't that say opponent's graveyard? Slicer? Return a target card from your graveyard to your hand, and then if kicked, you get a conjure from the opponents. They brought back Uro. Put a counter on a creature I control. This one. Proliferate. And that proliferates my experience. Here comes Uro gaining them life, and then going back to the graveyard. Yeah, Slicer is a cool card because it's a regrowth that combined can also get you a copy of a card from your opponent's grave. Very cool digital design. This is the kind of card I would like to see more of in digital design. You want to kill it so it comes back? You can just kill it and block. It's fine. They now have 2 blue creatures, important for the Sword of Truth and Justice. Or should I be just proliferating here? I could also play this for an additional... No, I think I just beef da bill and swing in. I guess I should place the counters first. Doesn't matter, I got plenty of power. And their life total's pretty low. GG. Effie, fast learner. Cares about the number of tapped creatures you have and seeks out survivors for your hand. I've got some turn 2 ramp that they do go first. I've got a World Weave to set up for even more ramp, some landfall, and one of my favorite counter givers, Defiler of Vigor. It might not trigger Ezuri, but it puts way more counters on things than he ever could. I find that Ezuri in general, it seems like he was designed for a slower format. You know, Commander, Casual Commander, Precon Commander, from back in the day. So now, we have some very strong cards like Ouroboros and Defiant Vigor that can really quickly beef up the board. So in order to tap their creatures, they've got this district mascot that's going to be saddling up. You can even use vehicles and planets. And Effie is a scales card, so they probably have other +1/+1 counters in the deck. I'm feeling Fanatic. It's a real good blocker. And it's also just Fanatic Aronis. You know how it is. The dog into Asteroid Dream Curve. It's quite good. Yeah, they got the onesie twosies, but they didn't get another land for 3. Esper Sentinel will be taxing me as I cast non-creature spells. And this can destroy artifacts. It's in my deck, too. They missed the land drop. So at least I got that going for me. But that dog is doing some serious damage. Interference Ace lets them untap to tap again. It also saddles or crews, I think, with its butt. Yeah. Mounts and cruise vehicles using its toughness rather than its power. Oh, that's so weird, but it doesn't station because it existed before station. That's a bummer. Counters. 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 Let's see if I can make my Defiler big enough. There we go. A classy little 10/10. They're still on 2 mana, even though most of their deck probably costs only 1 or 2 mana. But without another land, and with me getting my Defiler of Vigor, looks like we're well established to win the game. GG. Rofellos, Llanowar Emissary. This is the kind of commander that I wish didn't exist, and it's banned in Commander for a good reason. I have really good cards in this hand, but I won't be playing them right away, and I don't have removal for Rofellos, so I am going to throw this back and see if I can get a better hand. It's about the same, but it does have a fun start of Saz's Chocobo get huge. This deck doesn't have that much removal. It has a little bit of counter magic. I didn't get any. And Rofellos is, I'll say, a troublesome problem card. That seems like the nice way to put it. Rofellos is a card that is tapping for mana based on the number of forests you control, which will very, very, very quickly become an issue. Because you just get more forests when you're in mono green. You use those forests to get more forests, and then you use Rofellos to tap for absurd amount of mana and cast your Eldrazi Titans and big green spells. And you do it fast, because he comes down on turn 2. Hey, Strip Mine. What's good? Great. I'll swing in, deal a little damage. Yeah. Oh boy, Rofellos, said nobody ever. Scuffs, are you enjoying the magic? You enjoying Rofellos? Eladamri lets them cast creatures off the top of their deck, and can also tap to cheat creatures into play. I'm going to look at, not necessarily cloning Saz's Chocobo, but getting these 1/1s, which are great for Ezuri. We keep swinging in, getting clues. And Rofellos also just got another new card that's quite good for it. They added in Yavimaya, which lets you turn all lands into forests. Crazy. They got a third land here, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hoof mana. Okay, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. The good news is that it's not a lethal hoof because of how early in the game it is. The bad news is it's still a crater hoof behemoth. And it happened. I can go to flip Tamiyo to reduce the damage from each creature next turn. I think that is actually the best damage reduction I have. So I'll swing in. Yep. Tamiyo does her Ka-Flipper. And we plus to slightly reduce their damage.
Use your words.
Mossborn Hydra, currently a 1/1, won't be a 1/1 for long, as they fetch into more forests. And they good gamed me, which they don't have lethal this turn as far as I can tell. They still don't. I'm not saying it's good for me. I'm just saying they don't have lethal. R.I.P. Kokla. We make their creatures shrink. And I will kill Rofellos and chump block the Craterhoof Behemoth, taking 2. Thank you, Tamiyo, for your damage reduction. I don't have another blue source because they destroyed it.
Before you act.
Just making some little chumpos for chump blocking. Mossborn Hydra will probably be my end, though. Because I can't absorb that much damage with the trample. Let's see if they get a land. Well, that's not just a land, it's a land doubler. Mythweaver Pock. And they play a forest. Which means this will go not just to 8, but to 16 damage. Now you have lethal. Lethal and game action addiction. Why have 16 when you can have 32? And they finally swing in. We take the damage, and we're very disappointed. That game, Rofellos, shouldn't be in the format. Well, not in the command zone, at least. Rofellos, Llanowar, Emissary. You know what he does? He taps for mana based on your forests, and he gets out of hand very quickly. I have a great turn 1, and then no turn 2, and maybe a turn 3 if I get a land. But they are going to be so much faster than me that I'm going to dig to see if I can find something better. Like, these are great cards. I don't have the mana for it, though. That's a 1-lander. All right, we'll keep this. We're going to go down to, then you, and that gets me a very good curve. You and you. And I'm going to believe. Mull to 5 against Rofellos. Fight me. Hey, DK Crew, they give it the 3-month resub. Turn 1, do they have ramp? They have a Once Upon a Time, which they can cast for free because this is their first spell of the game. A forest. My god. Fuel tank feature. If it survives until next turn, it probably will discount my Ouroboros. Unless I draw something bigger. Which I didn't. If I want to go for the most obscene mana, this is actually the card I play this turn. And then next turn, I Ouroboros. Am I gonna out-mana Rofellos? I'm sure as heck gonna try. Elder Gargaroth, just a sweet 6/6. We get a discount on Ouroboros. Cupa first. Sorry, Ezuri, you're not quite as fast as these other fellas. And post-combat, Ezuri. With the Ouroboros as it is, and the Kami doubling up the counters, I'm hoping I can just line up a crazy swing. But they have enough mana, right now 8 mana, to cast some very impactful spells. That's going to double the power on the Gargaros. They're going to either get a beast, draw a card, or gain some life. They're drawing a card. I am not going to trade into it. You first. I did out-mana them, by the way. Very proud to say. Okay, based on that current attack, we win the game. I out-mana the Rofellos on a mull to 5. I don't like to mulligan, but sometimes it's a good idea. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Brawl Stars, and double thank you to Rogue Ninth for requesting this commander as part of my subathon over at Twitch. Ezuri was pretty fun. I feel like he's probably not the best card to be the commander of this deck. That said, the archetype of Simic Scales is pretty strong, which means it is still going to get wins. You saw multiple games where Ouroboros just took over and won, because it's an insane card. Bristly Bill. These are really strong cards, and they're all part of the Scales archetype. And since you have access to blue, just a couple key counter spells can honestly make a world of difference. There are 3 pure counter spells in this deck, and then a Mystic Snake. there's one extra turn spell, and you can see, like, I don't even have as much blue as I have green because it's just so important to get +1/+1 counters and then protect your game plan a teeny tiny bit, or stop your opponent's game plan. The proliferate pieces that happen to be in Arena are also really strong, whether it's Sword of Truth and Justice, which unfortunately does give protection from Ezuri's abilities, or Dreamtide Whale, Thrumming Bird. These are all really strong cards. And with tons of these Simic 1-drops, I feel like Ezuri has the potential to be a good commander, even if, you know, he doesn't necessarily need to show up to win the game. I do think experience counters are cool, though, and I would like to see more of them in the future. Even though in Arena, like I mentioned before, Minthara and stuff, they changed her to be an intensity counter. We could make it experience counter, so multiple abilities that rely on experience could all get buffed at the same time. If you're looking for the deck list, you can find it in the description of the video. And if you want to find my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Amazonian is where I made this video. It's also where I stream almost every day and have been streaming continuously for the past 20 days as part of a subathon. It has been a wild time. It will be over by the time this video goes live because I'll be on my way to MagicCon Atlanta. And if you're going to MagicCon Atlanta, I hope to see you there. Remember, I'll be on the main stage on Saturday for, actually, which should be really fun. Mark Rosewater is going to be there. I'm going to embarrass myself in front of him. Thank you so much for watching and have a brawlful day.